Hey guys, Kyle here. So, just before the show starts, I wanted to mention our Patreon. You can pay us $1 a month as a thank you, as a tip. You can pay $2 a month to get access to one of our bonus content shows, episodes 2 days early, and a secret Discord chat where all of our Patreon donors get to go and hang out and talk with us directly. Then there's a $5 tier that you can donate to get access to a whole bunch more content. We have multiple bonus episodes on there, so please check it out. Patreon.com/itgetsweird. We don't advertise, we don't make money, so check it out and throw us some money if you think that would be cool. Thanks.
Welcome to It Gets Weird, our comedy show where we explore the unusual, the unbelievable, and the unexplained to try to make your world a little weirder. I'm Nile.
And I'm Kyle. Nile, this week I wanted to hop right into some email content. I have 2 emails from listeners. Well, okay, we had a couple. So first of all, we did get a couple yeses in our inbox, which I don't know if you remember. We did ask some questions, and we said, give us yes or no answers.
I do remember that one,
a couple episodes
yes.
ago. So thank you to everybody who said yes, it was a pretty unanimous yes from everybody, which I guess I should have expected that.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a Venn diagram, not even a Venn diagram. It feels like a chart that's going to be a big piece of the pie is yes, you know?
Yeah, so what you're saying... It Gets Weird listeners are big comers. Is that sort of...
Well, I'm not talking about volume. I mean, I guess like collective volume.
I'm not talking about
sure.
volume either. I'm saying...
But I think they're coming enthusiasts, you know?
Sure. No, I think that's probably true. We'll need another round of emails to confirm it, though. So this week's email question is... What's the volume like?
Come
let
on.
us know. Sorry, no, I'm sorry.
We're not. Are we that kind of show,
no,
Kyle? Do you want to be that kind of show?
I don't think so. We're asking those. You know what? Maybe we are that kind of show now, because we love to ask those kinds of questions. And we've got fucking Bigfoot on the Sibian, and
Well, I love that you're only Howard Stone. What the
Stern?
fuck is that? Stern.
Howard
Jesus
Stern.
Christ. Sometimes names just don't exist in your head. The only Howard Stern poll that we've got is Sibian and Baba Booey.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. But when you do something legendary like get Hillary Clinton on the Sibian, it's just that's what's in my mind about that guy. I don't, he's got to do bits that sort of match that. And it is always kind of crazy to me, though, that it's a radio show, that it's like, we're going to put Mrs. Clinton on this fucking thing, and you're going to hear it all live. So, I mean, maybe we are that kind of show. We're sort of like the Howard Stern of, paranormal podcasts.
The only other touch points I have are his wife does an animal rescue thing, because I saw her interviewed on the episode of the Late Show that was hosted by Adam Pally and Ben Schwartz. That I think it's one of the funniest things in existence. There was a time period where there wasn't a host of one of the late night talk shows, and so they're doing guest hosts, and there's an episode hosted by Ben Schwartz and Adam Pally. And it is one of the weirdest things you'll ever see, and it fucking rules.
Okay.
And Howard Stern's wife is the third panel guest, is the third whatever they call them, block guests, block C guest or whatever. And she is she's running an animal charity, and they keep trying to talk to her about other things, and she just doesn't want to.
Okay.
It's really
Does
funny.
Does she have a name?
I mean, I'm assuming she does. I haven't
Stern.
watched this in multiple years, so I don't remember her name,
Sure,
unfortunately.
okay. Okay. I didn't know that I didn't know Howard Stern was married.
Yeah.
let alone with a
There's,
wife.
there's also a John Cena interview that goes around wrestling Twitter from a Howard Stern interview. One where he's like doing like really down and dirty image control smear stuff for WWE, but then also there's a thing where he goes on about liking thick women. So that goes around a lot.
Hey, you got to respect that. I think based, as the kids would say. Well, that's cool. I do want to actually read an actual listener email that I thought was very interesting. So this was we had multiple questions that we threw at listeners in the last couple weeks. This email is from Jay, and it says, "Hello, Kyle and Nile. I listened to and enjoyed episode 513 of It Gets Weird. She's a Project, Real Fairies. I thought I'd give you some. That is the full name of that episode.
Yep.
I thought I'd give you some demographic feedback based on your conversation with Garrett regarding Magic the Gathering and/or Bruno Mars."
Yeah, we're looking for the representation of
Yes.
those two fan bases in our listenership.
This listener has a very interesting. They're an interesting outlier. So they go on to say, "I have not engaged with either of these things consciously or willingly. I suppose I've heard Bruno Mars play on store sound systems, but I couldn't tell you for sure. I've also never played MTG. I did, however, once play a clone of it based on the X-Files. I found I found it ponderous and too mathy to be any fun. I do, however, think it would be amusing for your pod if you played it for an episode." Now, I looked around for this. I don't know which game this listener is referring to specifically, because there is a pretty well-known X-Files collectible card game, and then there is I want to say late 90s, early 2000s X-Files the game.
Yeah, Jules had that one as a kid. Like,
oh really?
Her family had it, and I think, or maybe someone she knew had it. She has had some contact with the board game, the X-Files the game, and I said it was like really complicated.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
So
maybe that's what they're talking about. But if that's not it, listener, get back to us. I'd love to know about this game, and I would happily play it if I can, gain access to it or something.
Sure.
Somehow figure out a way to play it. That would be cool.
We're gonna proxy the fucking X-Files collectible card game. Yeah,
I'll definitely do it. Well, see, here's the thing. Now, the collectible card game is not. It doesn't have. As far as I could tell, it didn't have, like, collectible card game versus TCG. I got the impression that the CCG did not have mechanics. Like, it was just, these are cards you can collect.
Okay.
I could be wrong. But I looked at some of the cards, and there's fans who have preserved archives of the cards online, so you can see all the cards. And I just didn't see anything that looked like a game. It was just like, it's a lot like. We've had cards like, I think we've had like Star Wars and Buffy the Vampire Slayer cards that we've gotten, where it's just like, here's a scene, here's a character from the show, and that's what it looked like to me.
Okay.
But I'd be curious about this game. So they say they found it too ponderous and mathy to be fun. For some context, I'm probably outside the normal demographics of your audience. I'm over 50. Can we do a little round of applause? How bad is that for you to, like, audio wise?
Just don't do it right in front of your mic.
Just a little.
Are we doing 50 plus for 50 plus?
Yes.
A golf clap for the 50 plus out there. I like, legitimately, shouts out to all the people that listen to us that are like outside of the normal podcasting demographics. I love the fact that we have people older than me listening to this podcast. No, it's cool.
It's interesting. I don't mean this in any sort of listener. You're not the only one. We've had some people tell us their ages. Just a couple people who are like, I'm older than you, and I'm like, that's cool. So it's interesting to find out that there's people older than us listening. I'm curious what brought you here, but I am appreciative nonetheless. even though, yeah, like you're old as dirt and like old as shit and stuff. But
hey, hey, look, not to maybe, I don't know if everyone would take this super well, but I've waxed poetic at large about The Beekeeper and how that movie rules, and it's all about fighting for the olds, and I love it. So I'm with
you. If you live long enough, you end up with your own sort of beekeeper type agent who, will kill for you and defend your life and your honor. However, I will unfortunately tell you, you're on a sort of time crunch here, listener, because by the age of 55, it's no longer acceptable to listen to our show by anyone.
Oh, really? We have a clock?
Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, this is a new stipulation that our
how'd that get decided?
I think that's just sort of like the corporate ownership people who oversee our show. They were like, "Hey, your punk podcast thing you're doing is like cool, and we love what it's so cool." And but to really preserve the sort of punkness of it, it can't be older than 55. And I said to them, like a lot of punk people sort of burn out before they're even 30, and they were like, that's an interesting idea. And then I had to go into this whole...
they come back, they all pop back up at punk rock bowling.
That's
so,
true.
If you're over 50
watch
and you want to see punk rock, go to Las Vegas for punk rock bowling.
True. Well, I then had to negotiate with our corporate overlords and say, like, look, as much as I love the idea of restricting this podcast to people under the age of 30, like, I thought I'd never live to see 30 years old. Yeah. I'm so punk. I had to kind of walk them back from that idea just because they were thinking there might be some sort of punk synergy there for sort of marketing our show. And I had to just talk them through it.
I love how much you've taken to constantly, not constantly, but bringing up and labeling us as a punk podcast. That's like a fun term to have, like, after 500 episodes. Because like we do like there has been large periods of our lives where a lot of what we listened to was punk music. We have been to punk shows or everything, but it's I've never really thought of this as a punk podcast, but hey, I like it.
What in 2026, what's more fucking punk than a fucking podcast? I've been going online and I've been learning about all the things that are punk, and it turns out most things are.
Oh, true.
It turns out most things are. Like, if you're like a small cinnamon roll, that's pretty punk. Or if you're like
conservative, it's the new punk.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
you get it.
Or like what like happiness or whatever. Happiness. Is
happiness
punk rock.
is very punk.
Yeah.
Like going on like Tumblr and Blue Sky and like frantically searching punk. What is punk? And these are this is what I've discovered. And podcasts are like really up there. Upper echelon of punkness.
When confronted with the concept of punk, everyone turns into an alien who's trying to learn English for the first time. Is this punk? Is this punk? With just throwing stones in the wind, like fucking.
It's that guy. It's the anime dude with the butterfly. Is this punk? And the answer is yes to that guy as well. The butterfly is punk. And so's the... Anyways, I should finish this person's email. So they're over 50 years old, and they say, like many men my age, I loved X-Files and other TV budget sci-fi shows and a lot of conspiracy-tainment. If you're interested in collecting more audience in my age range, here's some things you could name check or cover to get our attention.
Hell yeah. I love this.
Interesting.
Give us the crib sheet to your generation.
I know a number of these things, too, because I'm a freak who likes old people stuff.
What do we got?
So the first thing they mention, they say Kolchak the Night Stalker, which you've brought up a bit over the years. Yes, we have.
Yeah, I have the DVD box set in my room right now, and eventually, whenever the poll deems it so, we'll watch it.
This is very much a listener decision thing where we've thrown Kolchak the Night Stalker up on our Patreon bonus show because people get to vote on the shows that we watch. We've watched quite a bit of X-Files. I think it's Kolchak the Night Stalker's turn. However, I will tell you, dear listener who sent this email. Right now we're watching a show from 1967. That seems old enough for you to be into it. We're watching The Prisoner. So Kolchak, definitely there. People should vote for it at some point. It doesn't necessarily have to be now, but definitely get it in before this listener's 60-year-old cutoff. Or did I say 55?
You said 55.
55-year-old.
You gave
cutoff.
him the Sammy Hagar can't drive 55 kind of thing
Yeah.
with our podcast.
Yeah.
So
it goes on to say The Invaders, the TV series from 1967. Also a thing I'm familiar with, but have considered for this show specifically.
It's on the proverbial long list.
We've got The Flying Saucer by Dickie Goodman from 1956 and other UFO-themed novelty songs. I actually love these. There's oh my god, I'm not going to pull the name of the artist, but there's like I don't know if you would say they're like bluegrassy, but there's like an old 50s folksy Americana, Lord, you better start praying when you see those flying saucers. Have I shown you that?
Yeah,
that song's
sent it
awesome.
to me before.
That song
it's good.
rules. But I'll have to check out Dickie Goodman because I actually don't know that one.
Yeah, that one's new to me.
And then The Legend of the Paper Boat Fleet. I don't know what this is, and I'm going to have to do research because I don't know what that is.
Yeah. So thanks. There are a couple new ones to us there.
Yeah, we've got Gary Seven from the TOS Star Trek episode Assignment Earth, which I think TOS is the original series. I actually have not watched much of the original series, mostly Next Generation, but I would definitely check it out. The documentary The Legend of Boggy Creek from 1972, which I think you've already covered. I do believe we've talked about this. In fact, I think this may have been a me and Jules joint. Maybe. I can't
because
remember.
I don't think I've
there.
seen that.
I think maybe it was. I have to. I don't remember.
We'll look. We'll
But
look it up.
and then we've got actor Bill Bixby from The Incredible Hulk and My Favorite Martian. Okay.
Sure.
Otto Binder, co-creator of some Superman characters. That's what I was going to say. Here's the thing, though. I know, or is it Binder? Because I have heard of Otto Binder. Not because of Superman, but because of what this email says next. He also wrote a couple important early UFO books and moved between the comics and paranormal communities. That would be very interesting. I've heard of Otto Binder, but not actually read any of the UFO stuff yet. But I'm familiar. I know that he existed, and he has popped up in my readings before.
Maybe that would be a fun. It might be fun to do an Otto Binder episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's fun to talk about comics as well as UFO shit.
Well, so. It's honestly a similar vibe as like Gray Barker, where there's a lot of crossover with culture and science fiction and stuff that's very interesting. And I feel like though the guys of that era writing about UFOs, it's a similar thing with Otto Binder, is I get the impression. So yes, I will definitely check that out. They say, hope you find this info helpful or at least interesting. Thanks for putting out such a consistently enjoyable show every week. Sincerely, Jay. Hey, Jay, thank you very much. Much appreciated. And, all joking aside, I do love that we've got, older people listening to the show. I'm always curious about the perspectives of the people across the age ranges, because I know we tend to pull younger, I think.
Yeah.
But so you're in a special minority. I wanted to jump. Actually, speaking of Binder and Gray Barker, we had a listener inform us in our Discord. I mentioned a book called Confessions of a Grave Robbing Ufologist. That's James Mosley, who I do think. So first of all, has come up on the show before, but I think was also friends with Gray Barker. I believe this is exactly what our listener was telling us, was like very involved in that UFO scene and worked on Saucer Smear, which was Gray Barker's thing too.
Yeah.
So, very cool stuff. I love that. That era of UFO stuff is amazing to me. And the figures that are writing about it and getting involved in the scene, it's amazing. So
all right, Kyle. So to get into what we're actually talking about this week, once I came across two words I felt it was my personal calling to cover this for the show, and I felt like I had to do it, as quickly as possible. And Kyle, those words were a cryptid named Antarctic Godzilla.
Really? Antarctic Godzilla. Now,
Yep.
there's a lot of ways to sort of make to have a cryptid be more believable. Being the size
Sure.
of a Godzilla. I'm talking like my mom talking about video game consoles. Oh, are you going to play Nintendo? Oh,
Yeah.
Godzilla. I mean, I picture something really, really big when you say Godzilla. I mean, the Ningen, for instance, has, it gets to be in the water, which is super. There's so much of it, You take one look at the ocean, you're like, fuck me. There's no way I'd see a giant creature from here. So tell me about this Godzilla. Although Godzilla does tend to traverse the oceans.
Godzilla actually, if you think about it, spends more time in the water than on land. It is Godzilla is mainly aquatic. But which is like one of my favorite things about like the kind of middle period of Godzilla is that like almost every movie ends with Godzilla just descending into the ocean,
walking into the water.
It rules. So good. Anyway, so the Antarctic Godzilla is, funnily enough, like all of the sightings pretty much take place in the 1950s, and so the Godzilla thing is kind of grafted onto it because it was pop culturally relevant at the time. So this thing probably would be called something else if these sightings took place not like within a couple years of when Godzilla was, took over the cinema. And also when you think about it, if you're talking about that era of Godzilla, it's also not a, 150 foot tall thing. It's like Godzilla, the original Godzilla, I think is like 75 feet tall something.
That's still pretty big.
Still big, don't get me wrong, but like if for people who are more knowledgeable, like have seen more recent Godzilla projects, we're talking a different size here.
Like, have you ever been in the airport and seen? This may have happened to me somewhat recently. You've been in the airport and you look over and you see like maybe over a dozen lanky men who are maybe 7 feet tall, and you're like, it's a basketball team. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
That's bigger than that. I would just like to point that out.
Taller than an entire men's basketball team. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
there is only one sighting of this thing that's on land.
Okay.
And it's the least descriptive sighting, unfortunately. But
I wanted to ask, was the nicknaming of it as a Godzilla, was the nickname a sort of contemporary decision, or was it a thing that happened many years later by people reading about the sightings?
It was by the people that wrote about it originally. It was named Antarctic Godzilla effectively, but whatever the Japanese translation of Antarctic, because this is a Japanese sighting.
Oh, okay. I see.
So we're very much I probably should have led with that. That's not an obvious thing here, but this is a cryptid that has so far as I can find, I think only been seen by Japanese shipping vessels. So that's fun.
That is fun. That's fun for me.
Yeah. So the main sighting of this cryptid that gives the biggest story that kind of like everything else is anchored off of, because there is an earlier sighting. There are a couple that take place before this one, but those kind of retroactively get assigned to this thing after this event. So I feel like starting with the more like the story that really started the thing, and then you tie on the other ones after, I think that's the way to go here. So the actual sighting took place on February 13th, 1958. It was seen by the crew of the Soya, which was a Japanese research vessel that was like basically they were going down to Antarctica, and so the sighting is near Japan's base on Antarctica, which is known as the Showa base, I believe. So you get like that's kind of the thing we're dealing with here is Japan down to Antarctica. It was first documented in the book in 1959 entitled Antarctic Transport by the captain of the ship, Mitsuchi Matsumoto, who, is one of the, I think, like, most of the ship's crew ended up seeing it, but he's the one that wrote about it and named it, and everything kind of hinges around his account, so to speak. So, on February 13th, 1958, it was about 7 in the evening. The crew of the Soya were on the bridge of the ship, relaxing, when they spotted a huge black object in the distance, approximately 300 meters away. It was on the surface of the sea. At first, they thought it was just like a large oil drum that had been abandoned by the vessel that they were kind of following, which was, funnily enough, called the Burton Island. It's an icebreaker ship that they were kind of traveling with at this point, but I think it's really funny. It's called Burton Island.
Sorry, why?
Why would you
Just
name a
'cause, like-
ship after an island?
Oh, I see. I guess that's a good point. Maybe there's something about it where it kind of gets treated as an island, like you're on the boat, and maybe they're going on there like I'm on island time when I'm on this fucking thing.
Yeah, it's actually. I'm sorry,
like...
I forgot to mention it is Jimmy Buffett's personal icebreaker. Because
that's weird that it's down in the
it breaks up
Antarctic.
ice for the margaritas.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that where he sourced them from before he passed away?
Yeah.
He would go there himself, and he would just tink, 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 knock some ice off the glacier.
He's written some of his best hits on that fucking ship,
That's awesome. I had no idea.
So, they were following that thing, and at first they thought it was an oil drum, so they kept just kind of moving, and then this thing started to keep pace with them. They were traveling at like 7 or 8, like, I don't know ship speeds, but they were like traveling at like
knots,
a
they
decent
use
clip.
Knots.
Yeah, it
one of the many ways sailing crosses over with the furry community, as I understand it.
I do think they're spelled differently.
Oh, really? Okay. Now can I ask a stupid question? Maybe we can just get it out of the way immediately. Sure. Is this couldncouldn't be a whale?
So one of the theories is that it could be a misattributed beluga whale, I think.
Okay.
But it's not the theory that I would go with, partially because of a thing you don't know yet.
Okay.
So like we haven't gotten to a full description of
My
this thing
first
yet.
instinct on this thing says whale. But to be fair, the Antarctic is one of those places where like something big and dark would stand out. So
so it wasn't because before it was Godzilla, the original pitch was for a gigantic whale monster to come onto the land, and then eventually that project kind of died and they did Godzilla.
Is that true?
You weren't doing that? Yeah, that's true.
Oh. No, I mean, I guess I wasn't doing that, but now let's say that's what I was doing because that's interesting.
Sure. So, no. This thing was keeping pace with them, and as they got a bit closer, they were able to suss out that this thing was covered with dark brown fur. There are literally depictions of it that have it having, like, almost like a bowl cut. Like I think that's the drawing in the book that these things come from. Has it like with a bowl cut. It's really great.
I mean, are we going to get a more detailed description here? Because
yes,
it really, I hear big thing in the water, Japanese sailors, and bowl cut. My mind kind of wanders over to a kappa.
Sure.
In a way, because those guys, they don't have bowl. They kind of have bowl cuts, right? But
they almost have like a tonsure.
It's supposed to be almost like a dish that I think traps water, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the kappa.
I think so. So yeah, 10 centimeters of dark brown body hair all over it. It's got kind of like a bobbed hair bowl cut style. The head of it, which is what they ended up realizing was bobbing on the edge on the water, was between 70 to 80 centimeters long, and roughly shaped like a cow or a horse. But the top of the head was round and monkey-like, and then it had the hair and everything. The creature's eyes were large and its ears pointed. One of the engineers that was one of the witnesses of this thing observed this creature more closely and discovered that it had dorsal plates all along its back. And it's said that he'd analyzed the creature as being terrestrial based by the way its body hair was. I don't know exactly what that means. I guess that it can go on land.
Okay, I see.
I don't really know how they reached that conclusion, but it's a thing that is a part of the story. So there are a couple other things that vary.
I should just say
accounts.
I ended up looking up an image of this thing because I had to know. And it's pretty odd. But if you remember how the kappas are in yokai folklore, where it's almost like they have matted I don't know if like sort of seaweed hair. In a bowl cut shape almost, and then the dish on top. I found an image of somebody trying to depict the Antarctic Godzilla. It's not too far off, and all these depictions of it, many of these depictions of it, it's very weirdly wild-eyed.
Yeah, and it's also not particularly the reason it gets called Godzilla, as far as I can tell, is because they first saw just like the head coming out of the water and the fact that it has dorsal plates. So the rest of it is not particularly Godzilla-like, but also like it's interesting how much, like how little of the, not to go deep on Godzilla here, but like a lot of the popular convention of it came after the first movie, which like I think technically Godzilla Raids Again would have been out by the time this had happened. But we were really in the formative days when the suit was very kind of different than it would become later. And a lot of the kind of hallmarks of like lizarddom aren't as present in Godzilla at the beginning. Like it is a lizard, but it's not as, I feel like the sculpting was more monstrous than specifically citing a type of lizard,
Yeah.
And so like I can kind of see how you would latch onto that as this like monstrous thing and kind of like tie it together,
Yeah.
I can kind of see how that happens. So after this, there are a couple details that vary depending on the accounts that you're looking at. Some things get added in various retellings of this thing, including that it has a really long neck. Other ones say that it has a really long torso that's over 10 meters long. And some places will even say that the creature as a whole was between 70 and 80 feet long. I don't know where that comes from specifically, because like if that's true, I think what it's actually doing is there's like a mistranslation of the fact that the head was 70 to 80 centimeters long, and I think somewhere along the line those numbers got translated into feet and changed into the creature,
Yeah.
Like I think in retellings there's a bit of a telephone game with that specific thing, because it didn't really seem earned by the depictions anywhere else, and seems like kind of a mistake to my ear.
Very interesting, because I'm not seeing tons of different depictions of this thing, but they all, it is a bit of a like, okay, so like obviously the dorsal fin is important here, but then other than that, it's like you're mashing up, if you were to take all the different depictions I'm seeing here, it's like you're taking a whale, a sea lion, a lizard, a fox, and like Mo Howard, and just put them all together. That's what this thing looks like, apparently.
It's always kind of a unit. Like all the depictions have it as kind of this like, an absolute unit.
Yeah.
But they vary within the certain realm. Like it's interesting how little of a concrete idea anyone has of what this thing is. Like,
yeah,
no, there's not like like Bigfoot. There's a pretty we have a pretty decent shape of that thing. This thing is very kind of choose your own adventure still.
Yeah, there's something about these cryptid stories where people get a glimpse of one or two really important features, and then the rest is sort of passed around in a game of, folkloric telephone, to the point where all the depictions of it based on who's hearing are like, it's like based on who's hearing the story. Like, you have the fins and whatnot, but all these depictions have enough differences to be, I don't know, interesting. Because even I'm seeing one that I think might actually be from the book you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And
is
that
it black
one,
and white?
Yeah, that one genuinely looks even more like almost like a sea lion creature, but it's also got like,
it's got something on its head.
Yeah, it's very weird. So
yeah,
I think that doesn't look very close.
Talking about, yes,
it doesn't look very close to the depictions of people who are like, I heard this story, I'm going to draw a picture of it now.
Yeah. The more modern depictions stray pretty far from that first one, as far as I can tell, and it's in like, because the biggest like mistaken identity animal explanation for this thing is a sea lion.
Sure.
And there's an even like an avenue that we're going to go down about this extinct form of sea lion that might have had, there's a chance a couple of them happened to be in the wrong area after they were supposed to be extinct. Like there's one of those even with this. But like if it wasn't, like if it was another animal and it wasn't just like trash they saw or some shit, the likelihood is it was a pretty large sea lion. And the dorsal fin might have been the tail flipped in a weird way that they saw kind of at an angle, or, something that was in the water, like there's that kind of thing to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the rest of the account basically is that after once the initial shock wore off, the chief engineer went to go run under into the ship proper to go find his camera to try to get to the thing, and by the time he came back, it was gone. The entire encounter lasted approximately 30 seconds, and that is the most people have seen this thing, which I think accounts for the kind of pretty the kind of inaccuracy of the depiction,
Yeah. I think something that maybe doesn't get talked about enough with cryptid stuff is how ephemerality plays on your memory of the thing too. I'm not, this isn't me trying to poke holes on it in the story or anything, just that because they probably saw something weird, whether it was a unknown monster, who knows, but
it might have been a whale turned inside out. Like we've
It's I think it's at least worth noting though that like when something like that is happening and you have an exciting 30 seconds in which you experience it, your memory's already fading by the time the thing is gone. Like your ability to recall something like that is, and maybe that's just me. I also have a pretty bad memory for things, so maybe this is just maybe this guy had a locked tight steel trap memory, and this is like the first real cryptid.
It's technically possible, but I think there are a lot fewer people that actually have that than would even claim it. Mm-hmm. Like memory is so tricky, and it's more fallible than you think.
I guess I'm trying to imagine the experience over the span of 30 seconds of being on a boat in the Antarctic and seeing something weird, and in the excitement needing to go grab a camera and stuff, and just how quickly that's playing out, and how much all of those factors would, make it hard to just truly document the thing you saw. I don't know.
I remember talking, like when I was watching stuff for the Thunderbirds episode forever ago, there was this, I think it was that, and then I think we talked about it, maybe you watched something with me for something around there, because there was the thing where they were talking about like the human eye's ability to like actually accurately measure size in the air, and how like nobody is good at it. Like it is like a thing you have to actively train to be even okay at.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I always think about stuff like that when we're doing these things, because like so many of the things are weird, partly because they are big, or very occasionally small,
Yeah.
or there's just some odd element to them, and it's really hard to trust yourself to always see the odd element truly, you know?
Yeah, I mean, or even just, it might be worth saying, not so much that they're big, but bigger than you expect.
Yeah.
A lot of the really skeptical cryptozoology takedown stuff is about, the exaggeration well after the fact because your memory is faulty, and like I just described, you're very excited in the moment because you don't know what you're seeing. They'll point to it's hard for us to judge size, and then later on you embellish on the story because that's how you it's almost like how you experienced it as opposed to like what you literally saw.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it things loom large in your memory.
Mm-hmm.
So this then kind of took on a turn when Captain Matsumoto came back to Japan, and he reported, actually, he didn't even get all the way back to Japan. He reported to the Japanese Coast Guard via radio what was happening, and this led to this whole story being pretty widely reported by the Japanese media. And then he returned to Japan, wrote his book, and named the creature the Godzilla of Antarctica, and that I think that kind of sealed it as being all forever tied to that. You've named it. It happened at the right time, and so regardless of how close this thing looks like to actually Godzilla, it will forever be called that thing. So I found like one other place that someone did try to do a deep dive into some Japanese sources, because there's mention of a biologist on the ship that saw this thing, named Dr. Yoshi, and it's referenced that biologist compiled an account of the creature from the crew and tried to compile everything that people saw and make some biological case of it, and they were able to confirm that there was a biologist on board. However, that person was not named on the manifest. And so I don't know if that biologist ever actually printed anything, but supposedly that information kind of got put into the Captain Matsumoto book as well. There are people who also will say that this thing, there's one or two sources that say the thing came up 50 feet out of the water, it extended up.
Yeah.
Almost comically, the way, because you see those things where that maybe this is, people don't see this shit, but there's Godzilla memes that are pretty popular, where they put the actual ocean floor below his feet, and they're are his legs 400 feet long when he's standing up in the middle of the fucking ocean, and it makes me think of that, where it's just this thing in very deep water, is, someone says this thing lifted up to 50 feet out of the water. So that would I guess be the 70 to 80 foot account, because some of it's still underwater,
Well, maybe it's one of those fish that can sort of propel itself above the water.
Oh,
with some
yeah, maybe
sort
a dolphin type thing.
Not even like a dolphin, or what the fuck are those fish? You've seen that video of the guy who's fishing on the boat, and he pulls the fish out of the water and it just goes flying and smacks him in the face?
Yeah, I have.
There's a type of fish that can just fly at you, apparently, from out of the water. So maybe it has some sort of mechanism with its fins that lets it do that. I do think also this is a pretty common trope with ocean-based cryptids, mysterious large creatures. There is something. Imagine seeing a whale breach water in in front of you, and how crazy that is on its own. I guess extrapolating from that for your cryptid, it has to be more crazy. So 50 feet in the air it is.
Yeah. I guess that would make sense, because it really does. The whale thing makes some sense. The sea lion thing also makes quite a bit of sense.
Based on the illustration from the original book, I'm now leaning towards some sort of sea lion, which
Yeah.
dorsal fin obviously makes that weird. But like you said, it's possible the thing was sort of, you could see a sea lion going through the water with its arm fin like on its side for sure. But who knows?
So after the fact, Matsumoto, the guy that wrote the book and the captain of the vessel that first saw Antarctic Godzilla, he recounted a sighting with a creature that might be linked to it from when he was sailing near New Zealand in 1935. So he was visiting New Zealand on a merchant marine school training voyage when he talked to a biology professor at the University of Auckland who said, "I'll show you the rarest thing in the world," and led him to a basement.
Ooh.
In that basement, there was a box approximately 60 centimeters long with a wire mesh inside of it that contained a stone and the body of a weird-looking creature.
Okay.
So Matsumoto was trying to get a good look at it when the professor then took the thing out and placed it onto his arm. It was only 30 centimeters in length, but covered in brownish-brown body hair.
Is this a Godzilla poop?
It was similar to a newt and had a serrated dorsal fin or dorsal plate going along its body. And so he basically is saying that this thing might be a baby form of the Antarctic Godzilla that he saw that was placed on his arm in New Zealand by a biology professor.
Huh.
This episode almost makes me want to do more of a dive on Matsumoto because I don't know if he's making this story up. I wasn't able to corroborate what is held at the University of Auckland that might be related to this, but it's really funny to be actually 20 years earlier, a guy put this thing on my arm that might have been the baby version of the thing I saw down near Antarctica. I love that.
That's a pretty wild. Do we know if this guy's still kicking around?
I don't know. I honestly
call him up and
not.
see if he's down to. I'm googling him now, and I'm not seeing much, to be honest.
Because the last little tag to this is that the professor then explained the organism to Matsumoto, but there was a language barrier, so they wasn't really to communicate a lot. But the professor did write down the quote scientific name of the organism on a note and gave it to Matsumoto, and he also took a photograph of it, but he subsequently lost both of those things.
What? Okay.
So
it seems you want to hold on tight to that sort of thing in this scenario.
Yeah, it seems like it might be important. So I was only ever really able to find one more sighting of this thing, and it's, funnily enough, entirely unrelated to Matsumoto. So this is the only other, and it's also the shortest sighting. It is straight up. There is. I was able to track where it came from by going to a Japanese site and translating it. So this account was first put together in the Asahi Graph Special Issue 1958, published April 25th, 1958, where there was an article entitled "A Year of Life in Antarctica: A Roundtable Discussion with Wintering Team Members." So this is supposedly these are people. Basically, this is stories told by people who were stationed at the Showa Station in Antarctica and spent a year there living at this station. Make sense?
Yeah.
So the statement comes from a member of the team known as Toru Kikuchi, who was in charge of geology and dog sledding.
Oh, wow.
Not really important, but just fun. So here's the quote, and this is the entire text of this sighting. "There was that episode where a monster appeared. A huge creature like Godzilla from the last century was slowly walking towards the base. Everyone made a huge fuss, but no matter how long we waited, it didn't come any closer. Everyone kept saying it was moving, but when we measured it, it wasn't moving. In the end, we concluded that it was just an exposed rock on the continent that appeared to be moving due to a mirage."
Huh.
So
okay.
people, what's funny is like one of the places that I found talking about this sighting brought up that there's an early episode of Ultra Q that kind of mirrors this, that now I kind of want, because I have a Blu-ray of Ultra Q.
Nice.
I haven't watched much of it. I should go find this episode and watch it just for fun.
I would love to see that. Yeah.
I love special effects bullshit from like the 60s. I think it's cool. And Ultra Q is that. So, yeah. So like this is the only non-Mitsumoto like involved sighting, and it is one that even in the account doesn't fully commit to the fact they saw something.
Yeah, it's a
mirage.
That's yeah, sort of a. It's almost weird to have it grouped in as a sighting.
But it comes up all the time, and a lot of them leave out the part where they say it's a mirage.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So a lot of people will just say that there was the only basically it just says the only other sighting was in 1950 or something at the Showa station. The beast was seen walking towards the base. And that's it. Yeah.
So they got okay. Really, this is really one where we can't decide what it does and is. It's very amorphous.
Yep.
I did notice that some of the pictures showed it as just an actual Godzilla, which I almost want to say is just because they named it the Godzilla.
Well, also supposedly in I don't know if it's in the same book or later books by the same guy, Mitsumoto straight up has depictions of Godzilla, like in supposedly in further talking about the story. Like, you know, it became supposedly even he started to like lump it together at some point, which honestly makes me I wasn't able to confirm that. That is just something that I saw mainly in comment sections. And unable to verify myself, but that is part of the gossip of this story.
I was just gonna say I was gonna run something through Google Translate real quick because I'm trying to figure out where this particular. Hang on, I'm just gonna send this to you because I want to confirm whether or not this is one that you saw. Because this is one of the ones that I'm seeing that's intriguing to me because it looks very sea lion-esque, and it looks like it's from an old book.
I did come across this one. I wasn't able to confirm exactly what that was, but I believe that this is maybe some retelling of it or something. I don't think this is the actual cover of Mitsumoto's original book, but it could be a later book.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to derail. I just was curious.
Very good. So there's this one other kind of tangent that I want to go on. There's another similar cryptid named Kamago that, funnily enough, the depictions make it look almost more like Hedra to me, where that it also was seen by mainly by a Japanese fishing vessel in the 70s. So this is later. And this sometimes will get... The reason I'm bringing it up here is because it is sometimes referred to as being of the same species as Antarctic Godzilla. So this is, some people call it a different cryptid. Some people will link them together. But it was on April 28th, 1974. All 26 to 28 crew members, including the captain named Captain Kimura of the Japanese fishing vessel 28th Konparamaru, witnessed a large creature off the Littleton Peninsula. It was only a meter and a half of its head was seen coming up out of the water. And the creature then dived after watching the crew for a while.
Yo, I'm sorry. I looked this one up too because I can't help myself. The illustrations of this thing are cool. Are really good.
I like that's partly why I'm bringing this up is go look up the picture of this thing because there are like straight up sketches made by Captain Kimura, and those are the ones that are used in a lot of the articles. If they look like kind of older Japanese style sketches, those are probably the ones that Kimura did. Damn. And I think they're sick as fuck. I think it rules. And that is the only sighting of this thing. So a lot of people will just lump it in.
Sorry, I'm very enamored with this because it's very unique. It's very unique. I don't really get how you could lump it in with the way they describe the Antarctic Godzilla. This thing, honestly, has even more of a Ningen vibe where it feels really like divorced from creatures that we would be aware of on Earth. It looks alien-like almost.
Yeah, it does look not of this earth. It's pretty cool looking, and I wish there was more story to it. Like, I wish I could do an episode on that thing, but that is all I found. So
wow.
It gets tossed in here, unfortunately, but go look it up. It's called the Kabagon, Kabagon. Go look it up. It's cool as shit.
Damn.
Some people call it a hippo monster. I call it lovely.
I'm on the Japanese internet looking at this thing. I'll see if I can find even more about it. But it does seem very relegated to just like retelling of the same story over and over.
Yeah, there are certain
stuff.
cryptids that kind of become footnotes to other ones more than like having a lot of stuff on their own. And I find that pretty common. That's kind of how the whole cryptid grab bag episode started, was like there are ones that are kind of footnotes to other ones and you just lump them together. But
it is funny though, because I think this one that I'm looking at is likening it. You know, the I don't know if they're like a type of seal that has like a big bulbous nose almost.
mm-hmm.
This article does seem to be likening this Kabagon to seeing one of those seals from the front, which I kind of get where that's coming from, but it's a very weird looking creature already.
Because like there are times that you can see, if seals aren't really blubbered up, you can see some of their spine through the top, like leopard seals specifically. You can kind of see a ridge of their spinal work on their back. So like when you look at pictures of leopard seals in like full laying down position, you can kind of see how this happened. You can kind of see it.
It's likening it to a seal or a walrus is the impression I'm getting from these Japanese websites. That's good stuff. I like this guy.
Yeah, but there is also a kind of dinosaur-esque explanation as well. There's a thing called a desmostylia that was like a thing we only have fossil evidence of, and there are people that will like tie this in as a still living dinosaur thing as well. So
sure, I mean, you got
it. There's all sorts of then my favorite theory that is like, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but there's an extinct version of a seal called a Steller's sea cow.
Yeah, I've heard of these things. This actually comes up quite a bit in cryptozoology.
Yeah, and it's like once you read it a little bit about them, there's some of it makes sense for like the 19th century sea monster, because these are a thing that we basically hunted to extinction because they tasted really good. Ooh. And they had really good oil when you like rendered their blubber.
Oh, God.
And so like they were this really kind of long seal, like they're kind of, they're fucking big chonkers. They're big things. And they were mostly found up by the Arctic, but when you look at maps of where they were, like what was it, like the Bering Strait or whatever, but they do kind of come down to the north parts of Japan in the waters. So but like for that to work for the Antarctic Godzilla thing, it would have to have it lasted longer than their extinction point, which I think was in like 1870. And then also gone wildly off course, because like they had to have been down closer to Antarctica, as opposed to up by northern Japan and like Russia and shit.
Yeah, that's fair. I would also add though that especially when it comes to marine biology, extinction doesn't necessarily mean it's guaranteed completely gone.
Yeah, because there's like a whole section in articles about this thing, about like sightings all the way up into like I think the early 20th century.
But I always think of the coelacanth. And whenever I bring up the coelacanth, I have to stop, pause, and remind myself that the real animal is not called relicanth, because that's the Pokemon. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the coelacanth. All right, just because I am me, I had to look up if any of the stuff involved here could be tied to actually like the Godzilla canon in any real way. The closest I found is that Antarctica and Antarctic bases, such as the Showa Station, do show up in multiple Godzilla films.
Sure.
Most notably, Godzilla is kept in a underground prison, effectively named Area G in Godzilla Final Wars that he breaks out of, which is down in Antarctica.
Yeah,
and
Area
then also,
G.
Yep, and then also, there's a Monarch base in Godzilla King of the Monsters where, funnily enough, King Ghidorah is frozen in ice. That also is in Antarctica. So they like, it all comes back into each other. I of course had to talk about Antarctica and Godzilla movies for this episode because it's an Antarctic Godzilla.
Sure,
so.
no, and I appreciate that I now know about the G area or whatever you called it.
Yeah, I love there's. You know how the joke with Doctor Who is that, you reverse the polarity and you fix everything or whatever the fuck? The joke with Godzilla is that, like, everything is just G dash the thing it is.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, everything... Because, like, they have G cells, which are the DNA that gets used from Godzilla to make other things such as Destroya and Biollante and Space Godzilla, I believe, and a couple others. And, there's all this other shit. Anyway, so, yeah, Area G... very on brand for
it's
the Godzilla
also
franchise.
what they call Godzilla's
no zone.
Yes zone if you use it right.
Yeah, it's Area G. Oh man! All right. Well, Kyle, do you want to do a big question?
Sure. Yeah, I'll do one of those.
Look, I'm on my bullshit this week, and I just want to ask you, what cryptid or creature in our area of interest would you most like to see show up in a Godzilla movie, either as friend or foe? And, you can play with size. They can be cryptid size, like they can be, kaiju sized if you would prefer.
You are kind of just giving me, like, if you think about what the essence of this question is what cryptid do you want to be really big? The extra part of this is like also they'll appear in a Godzilla thing, but I'm just thinking like what would be a cryptid? Oh, I mean, okay. Honestly, I would love to see some sort of horrific, monstrous interpretation in a Godzilla film of the Ningen.
Yeah, that one is the instant.
It's very obvious.
I think that is a fucking slam dunk.
Yeah.
Something that kind of, because like so many of the cryptids or the kaiju in Godzilla movies have a lot of details. The Ningen is so smooth, and there's an unnaturalness to the smoothness to it,
Yeah, it's very weird and creepy and big and white, and it just... I feel like seeing that thing come out of the water and have a reveal would be great for a Godzilla movie. But, man, this is tough. Like, I could actually sit here and think about this for a while, because the other thing that jumped into my mind was... not exactly within the confines of your question, because I was thinking, like, what if, like, a mantis alien was a Godzilla foe? And
sure.
So I guess what I'm asking for is a giant mantis creature, and the reason I'm taking a little inspiration from Neon Genesis Evangelion, the anime. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but.
No, new to me.
One of the things about it was that they were like, oh, we need to make lanky robots so that it's harder to make toys to market. First of all, that really failed. That backfired.
Yeah, they look cool as shit.
Enormously, and they look really cool. It wasn't that they didn't want them to be cool. It was that they wanted it to be difficult to create toys of them. And you kind of make, like you think about a Gundam and how it's a little blockier and heftier because you can also have a toy of that.
Yeah. It's very sturdy joints.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is I would love to see how you could kaijuify a mantis creature because those guys are lanky and they have very weird limbs and stuff. And I love a big lanky freak.
Are you familiar with Kamacuras?
Actually, no.
Okay,
Can
do me a favor and Google Kamacuras. I believe it's how you spell it.
I'm looking this one up because I don't think Oh, this is what I'm talking about. This is actually what I.
You should go watch Destroy All Monsters. There are multiple of them that are on the island, on Monster Island. They're denizens of Monster Island.
Oh, it's just actually a praying mantis. Fuck, they saw me coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Fuck, this is good. Whoa, this one looks fucking cool. Okay.
Kamacuras is cool.
Okay.
Kumonga is where I have trouble.
Kumonga?
Big spider. Kumonga is big spider.
Oh, sure. I'm looking that one up too because I'll probably also like it. That's
also on
cool.
Monster Island. The
Shit,
Destroy
I
All
gotta
Monsters
watch
is
Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me one more chance here because the Ningen was my first obvious choice. I don't want to. Okay. Final answer. Although I think all these options are good, and we could debate, how to do this to most cryptids, frankly.
Yeah.
But then there'd be ones where it's like, oh, you say Bigfoot? Okay, well that's kind of like King Kong, really. Like
it's kind of, if you watch War of the Gargantuans, it's basically big feet.
Yeah. I would love to see the Jersey Devil, a demonic winged horse creature, like horse-like almost. Like that would be kind of sick. That would be like cool. Literally God's. And this is my pitch for Godzilla Goes to Hell.
Yeah, not Godzilla in Hell, the James Stokoe book.
Sure. I mean, for me, this is we're doing a movie. This is a new thing.
Okay.
This is Kyle's Godzilla Goes to Hell. And this is
Godzilla. Above the title. Love it.
Godzilla gets captured. They put him in the G spot, and they take a giant rifle and they shoot him in the back of the head. They were like, "We're fucking done with your shit, Godzilla." And then it's just about Godzilla's spirit form. Descending hell and eventually having to fight a monstrous Jersey Devil. And yes, through the trials and tribulations of traveling through hell, Godzilla gains different cool, badass, like hell powers and stuff, like a flaming fist and molten breath and stuff, and like I know that he has the nuclear breath, but I'm saying like this is like a new form of that's hell themed. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's badass.
So it's really cool. And when he goes down there and he beats the fucking shit out of the Jersey Devil who runs Monster Hell, Godzilla gets reincarnated into a new Godzilla. Hell Godzilla walks Earth. When Monster Hell is full, Hell Godzilla will walk the Earth.
Hell yeah.
And that's my movie idea.
Hell yeah. I love Burning Godzilla, and this is just like a 90s fucking black and white Thrasher type comic of a version of that, and I'm into it. I love it.
That's what I'm saying. What was your answer?
I kind of want to see like remember your episode on the Mongolian death worm?
Yeah. Oh.
I think like there's been some cool shit in the Monsterverse of like, that fight with Godzilla and the monk and Kong by the pyramids and stuff. I think like getting like a sand-based worm kind of like surprise thing, like we're capitalizing on the success of Dune a little bit here, I think, but like Godzilla has always lived in taking little inspiration from other things that are popular. Like go watch the fucking Heisei era, and there's so many fucking James Bond ripoffs in the like human plots in those movies. It's crazy. And like I find that fun. I think that it's fun to steal little things and be influenced by larger pop culture.
You got to remember the Mongolian deathworm could put out like electrical pulses. It's very like RPG boss. So that would be really sick. Plus, like, has the Godzilla ever been just sent out to the desert? They're just like, it's the desert's problem now. We just drop Godzilla out there.
It would Godzilla, man. They're like, it would. Okay. There's this whole thing. There's this kind of trend in comics right now that's been going on for a while. Stuff like like they do this with Wolverine a lot, but also like the last Ronin, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing, where it's just like there's only one of them left. It's really serious and sad, and it's like about, it's like the story is very just about the one thing. I think there's something in my head about like a Godzilla movie with no humans that is Godzilla in a desert, and like by itself being hunted by a fucking Mongolian death worm.
That would be fucking sick.
Where Godzilla's out of his element, he's in the Mongolian death worm's element, and there's like nothing to take you away from the fact that Godzilla's constantly being hunted for like 90 minutes. Effectively it would be a mix of that and In a Violent Nature,
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Fuck! I love.
You told me about this movie.
In a Violent Nature. It is so fucking good. Highly recommend. It is kind of brutal, but it's awesome.
Nice. I would watch both of these movies.
Yeah.
I think we're Godzilla geniuses here. I think we've come up with like really fantastic ideas. So, if anybody with lots of money wants to reach out to us and help us develop these ideas, I'm ready to do it.
Or if anyone with slightly less money but still a decent amount, like pretty good amount of money, wants to make a comic out of it, I would do that.
Sure, that's Niall's idea. I'm vying for a lot of money here. That's sort of where I'm coming from.
Sure. Yeah, go big or go home. Sure.
Yeah, basically. Oh, a comic would be good too. Anyways, that's cool.
All right. Do you want to take care of some business?
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to find the show, you can follow us on all of your favorite podcatchers. Wow.
There's a bunch of them out there, and we're on all of them, basically.
We're on all of them. If you listen to podcasts somewhere, look us up. We're there.
But everybody always asks about Spotify. Oh, are you on Spotify? Yes, we're on Spotify. You're probably listening to us on Spotify right now.
A good portion of our people do.
Yeah, a lot of people on Spotify. We are on Blue Sky at It Gets Weird. You can follow us there. That's about as far as the social media presence goes these days. We are on twitch.tv/itgetsweird. Come give us a follow. I'm probably going to start a game series again here soon, now that Colin and I have finished Pokemon for a while and we took a break. So I'm looking to pop something back on there. So give us a follow if you like video games or just hanging out in the chat or whatever. Email us, itgetsweirdpodcast@gmail.com. We had a great email that kicked off this episode. So if you ever want something like that read on the episode, send us something cool and we might read it on the show. Just let us know how we should address you, and we might check it out. If you want to support us, and I know you do, you're going to want to check out patreon.com/itgetsweird. We have a $1 tier. That's our tip jar. You're saying, hey, thanks for doing what you do. Here's $1. We have a $2 tier and a $5 tier. At the $2 tier, you get It Gets Weird TV. Comes out every other week. Niall and I talk about weird television, stuff that can, kind of relate back to the themes of our show. We've watched lots of X-Files. We watched a season of Supernatural. You get to vote on what we watch next. Right now, we're watching The Prisoner, like I mentioned, which has been a great time. It's got sort of like paranoid conspiracy vibes. It's good stuff. So check it out. That's at the $2 tier. But if you want the most bang for your buck, I would highly recommend the $5 tier. You get another show in the off weeks of It Gets Weird TV called World of Weird, where Niall and I talk about whatever we want. It's a great time. We have a lot of fun with it. So check it out. Whether you donate to the $2 tier or the $5 tier, you get access to the main show 2 days early on Friday instead of Sunday, and you get access to the Discord where we're hanging out with our listeners, chatting about UFOs, cryptids, conspiracies, all kinds of shit. And it's a great... I've said it so many times, I'll keep saying it. We have a really great community, so please check it out. Mm-hmm. Patreon.com/itgetsweird. But if you can't support us monetarily, we get it. Times are tough, money's tight. It's all good. We love you nonetheless. However, the least you could do is tell some people about us. Tell somebody who you think might like the show about It Gets Weird. So tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your congressman all about It Gets Weird podcast.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for continuing to support the show. This has been It Gets Weird, and I've been Niall.
And I'm Kyle, signing out.
Peace.